we're going to create some awesome particle backgrounds for your titles or logos in this After Effects video. Hey, what's going on internet? This is Josh Noel from SonduckFilm. I've done a number of particle tutorials in the past, and there's just so many different variations of creating awesome particle scenes like this one. So when something like this interests you, you can create it. However, you will need a plugin to follow along with this video, which is Trapcode Particular. Now you can get a free trial on it. I'll go ahead and link that in the video description if you want to check that out. When I first started using particle effects in After Effects, I always thought the particle effects were so hard to understand how to use, but don't worry, it's very easy. We're going to jump into it. There's only 2 steps. We only have to set up the particles and we only have to set up a camera. So let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial and let's get started. Alright, so here we are inside of After Effects, and we're going to go over to our new composition. And the first thing we need to do is create a new solid here at the top. And we can call it Particular, and I'll just call it Particle, and make comp size, click OK. And then we're going to want to bring in our Particular effect from Red Giant, and I'll drag this into our solid layer. And now if we scroll forward here, we should see some particles. Great. Go to Layer, New, Light, and name this Emitter. Just like that, Emitter, click OK. And now we'll go back into our particle layer. We'll go to the emitter, one of the first settings in here, and we'll change the emitter type from a point to a light. So now the emitter is officially our light source. So let's go to our light layer. Let's hit P on keyboard for position, and let's position our light to be off frame, kind of like this. And we'll add a keyframe for position, and we'll move forward to maybe 3 seconds, and we'll move this to come across the screen kind of like this, and maybe we'll animate it to come upward a little bit, and this could be whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be this exact path. And then if you click on the word position, you'll see these 2 points right here. These are like small anchor points, and we can just kind of curve these out a little bit, so we have, you know, not a linear animation, so it's nice and curved out. And now you can see that the emitter is following the animation of our light. So that is really cool. And then we'll make sure we go back into Particular. Let's increase the velocity distribution by a little bit. Maybe we'll go to about 2. Increase the velocity from motion to about 40-ish. And set the emitter size X, Y, and Z down to 0. So now obviously all the particles come out from just that exact point. Let's close up the emitter window and let's go into the particle window. Let's go to the sphere feather and let's set it to 0. And let's set the size to 4. And here we can change the color to whatever color we would like it to be. Maybe I'll do an orange or something like that. We'll keep it there for now. And then we come here to blend mode and we can set it to screen. Now let's go right into the auxiliary system, and where it says emit from off, set it to continuously. And now we got some more interesting things going on here. So set the particles per second up to 1500. And this should give us nice straight lines like this. Not so beautiful, but we're getting there. Let's set the size down to 0.5. Let's come here to color from main percentage, and let's set this up to 100%. So now we're taking the same exact colors as our main particle. Let's change the life per second up to 4. And make sure to set the blend mode to screen, and we can set our feather down to 0 as well. And with a quick preview, you can see we have some nice little particle design in here already. So, you know, it looks really cool. So let's go ahead and let's open up the physics menu. And if you want, we can adjust the gravity if you want. But right now, let's go into the air settings. And I like to change the wind Z to -200. Now, so the gravity is really up to you. If you really want this to kind of be straight on one direction, like on one axis, just go ahead and increase the gravity, and you can have this going straight down like so. I kind of liked it how it was, but I keep it like right there for now. It's totally fine. So if you don't have Trapcode Particular, or if you're looking to save time, if you do have Trapcode Particular, all the previews you're seeing right now are After Effects templates from VideoHive, meaning these are pre-made After Effects templates that are already ready to go. The only thing you have to do is drop in the new title or logo, and you can render this out within just and there's hundreds of particle templates just like this. So if you're looking for some inspiration or looking to save time, go ahead and check our links in the video description, and you'll see all these amazing templates. So a lot of this effect is going to come through the depth of field in the shot. So what we need to do is go to Layer, New, Camera, and click OK. And what I'm going to do here is open up camera 1, go into the camera options, and I'm going to change the depth of field from off to on. So from here it gets just a little bit tricky, and what you need to do is increase the aperture to about maybe 200 pixels. And things start to get a little bit out of focus, and we can increase this a little bit more if we want. And you know, things can get really nice, but what we need to do here is find the right focus distance. So right now it's at 2600 pixels. we need to decrease this value, and we'll be able to find spots that start to become in focus. So I'm going to set this down to maybe 1900 or so, and things get to be a little bit more in focus here, and continue to decrease this value, and you can see, you know, the focus starts shifting around, you know, the object here. And we can of course continue to increase the aperture, and this will make things a little bit more blurrier. The easy way to do it is increase the blur level, so we can do that to like 200%, and you know, it really blurs it out, but we'll keep the blur level maybe 135%. So perhaps what we can do is actually keep the focus distance up to 2500 and add a keyframe for it, and we can move forward to the end of our animation. So let's just say 6 seconds, and we can lower it down to, let's say, 1500 pixels, so we can have a nice rack focus on our particles, and that's something kind of cool to work with. Now what I like to also do is close off our animation here at the end, because you know, our particles are going to continue to animate after our light layer has stopped animating. So what I like to do is, and before our last position keyframe for our emitter, let's go right before that, and let's open up the emitter here, and let's add a keyframe for particles per second, and let's move forward here, and let's set it down to 0, so it won't emit any more particles after the light is done animating. Alright, so I changed up the background a little bit and added some text in here, and I want to customize the scene a little bit. So let's go ahead and create a new adjustment layer. Go to the top, new adjustment layer, and let's go to effect, noise and grain, and let's add noise, and set the noise up to 6%, and unchecked use color noise, and let's add like a little bit of grain noise, whatever, to this motion graphics, make it feel a little bit more authentic. And then we go to effect, color correction, and we can add curves, and we can darken this down by creating a little S curve. Creates a little bit more contrast in our scene, and I think that looks really nice. And one thing I like to do here is kind of dolly in on our particles. So let's go to the beginning of our timeline. Let's go to camera 1, hit P on our keyboard for position. Let's add a keyframe for that. Let's move to the end of our animation, which I'm saying 6 seconds in this case, and we come here to the top, and we can grab the Track Z camera tool, and we can zoom into our, you know, our particles here. And what's nice about this is that actually the focus will shift a little bit, and I think that's really cool as well. Let's go back into Particular, and let's go back into the Physics tab, and we'll go to Turbulence Field, and this is where things can get kind of interesting, and what I challenge you to, you know, experiment with. You can look at the effect size here, which is going to change more like the endpoints here, kind of cool, but also the effect position is something that I would experiment with as well. You get some really nice, you know, stylistic lines in here, you know, nice particles. So go ahead and play with these settings. There's not a specific objective with this, so I'm going to keep it at 0 because I like that. But yeah, that's essentially what we have. Make sure to turn on motion blur and turn on for your layers, and you should be good to go. And let's go ahead and let's take a look at our final result. So there is our particle scene. So now you can create some really nice, you know, titles with some nice backgrounds with particles. So I hope you guys were able to take away a few techniques from this video, and hopefully you're going to be able to apply it to your own work. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, SonduckFilm. We post 2 post-production tutorials every week right here on the channel. Also, hit me up on my social media networks. Those links are in the video description, and always be creating.